Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, people. My name is Ryan Smith. This is the PhireBall Sports Podcast. It is Friday, the 13th of September. All right, I am going to start today's show off with a digital clip I made with some commentary on the game from last night regarding Tua.
Star quarterback Tua Tagovailoa taking a hard shot to the head from the Buffalo Bills' Damar Hamlin. Late in the third quarter of the primetime game, Tagovailoa running the ball, lowering his shoulder and colliding with Hamlin.
And takes a shot at the 6-yard line.
Tagovailoa running the ball.
This game of football, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. There's so much life to live, and for me, it's just sickening to see this man, seem like time and time again, being in that uncomfortable position.
I can totally relate to the gladiator mentality and wanting to play, but look at where these guys are with CTE. Look at the damage that you can see in the brain. It's a shame, but he's got to hang him up. It's the only humane thing to do at this point, and it's a shame. But it does have to be done, nonetheless, or else he'll be playing football for a few years and dying soon after. All right, welcome back to the PhireBall Sports Podcast. My name is Ryan Smith, and I am here to give you what will be a weekly segment of picks. I'm going to get you 3 underdogs, 3 favorites to cover lines, and then I'll pick you 3 money lines to win outright. All right, my underdog teams this week. The first is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders because I don't like that 8.5 point spread, even though I think the Ravens have Super Bowl potential. My next will be the Green Bay Packers. Coming off that South American loss to the Eagles, expect the Packers to show rebound energy and cover at the Indianapolis Colts. And I am picking the Bengals because everyone always underlooks the fact that in today's financial aspect of professional sports, it is very hard to win multiple Super Bowls and to keep that team dominant because players that win Super Bowls get big contracts and leave the team. So bet against the Chiefs to cover as long as you can until the odd makers catch up. All right, my 3 favorites to cover. Until further notice, the number 1 will be who's ever playing the New York Giants. This week it's the Washington Commanders. And let me tell you, expect that spread to go down for the sole reason that people think the Commanders are not good. I don't understand how bad the Giants are. All right, my next pick for a favorite to cover is the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is because they will be riding the high from their Week 1 victory. And my third and final favorite to cover will be the San Francisco 49ers, with or without Christian McCaffrey. So, having said that, I will go a step further and tell you that with or without Christian McCaffrey, the San Francisco 49ers are my number 2 moneyline bet. All right, the next moneyline pick I have, New Orleans Saints. You know, it's going to be a risk, but I like the return you're going to get. The Cowboys, people are going to get caught up in looking at the previous season's records. They're a great team. They're not. It would probably be best and safest for me to advise you to pick the Saints to cover, but I'm going to say that's my money line pick. And obviously, I told you that my second best money line bet was the 49ers. All right, so I know it's backwards, but the Saints are my third, and I want to close the show by telling you that obviously my number 1 choice for money line is the Washington Commanders. And why? That's right, because they're playing my New York Football Giants. And that front office is such a steaming pile of whatever the opposite of success is that I watched John Mara in Hard Knocks just pop his head in, let the GM and the coaches and all the scouts do their thing, and put in one word. I'd really hate to lose Saquon. And, let's not hurt Daniel Jones' confidence. And I watched him take that advice from his boss. And by the way, watching the Mara operate reminds me how classy of an organization is. He was trying to let him do his thing. He was just saying, hey, if you're listening to me, don't lose the franchise. And what do? They don't stifle any of the rumors that they're trying to trade up to draft a quarterback, and they let the franchise player walk. Oh, and great move, Coach Dable, in fostering your franchise quarterback's confidence. The answer to the question, are you trying to trade up to draft a quarterback, is no. Daniel Jones is our franchise. Even though it's a lie, it's for his confidence. But what do? We dance around the question, making it obvious. Yes, we'll trade up if the right deal is there. Of course we will. Let's make sure that Daniel Jones knows that we don't want him, because he definitely has the talent to ignore that kind of noise in New York. Way to go, Coach Dable. Way to go, Mr. General Manager. You're in New York. You just let Saquon Barkley go put on green and white. Mortal sin. Did you take the GM job without knowing that that's never been done before? And then your backup plan to throw a couple mediocre offensive linemen in front of Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones is to football what Quincy Jones is to football. All right? Daniel Jones was a quarterback at Duke University. That's where you should go, back to Carolina. And Duke University is a great sports college. I love so many players from Duke for three-point shooting. As far as football players from Duke, you know what? It was bad enough you drafted him and wasted that pick. It's worse that you now wasted the Barkley pick. Neighbors is going to be wasted because of him. I know that Dave Brown gives us a nice walk down memory lane, but let's stop with the Duke quarterbacks. All right, Giants? Dave Brown is not the proper heir apparent to Phil Simms. At least he was from New Jersey, and I remember what he did. Simms had a great 93. Brown had a decent 94. Had 3 awful seasons. They replaced him with Kent Graham. And then comes Kerry Collins, unexpected Super Bowl appearance. Kurt Warner, Eli, 2 Super Bowl trophies. And 10 years of football. Daniel Jones. God. Better have Daniel Craig. At least James Bond might do something exciting. So, picking Daniel Jones, you wasted it. Barkley. Could have been Josh Allen, obviously. Even Sam Darnold. I believe in Darnold. He looked good last week. Let's try to do what we can in the future, Giants, to make sure that Malik Neighbors, who I know will be a stud, will join the cast of LSU receiver studs. And he'll be the second one in, the last 10 years or 12 years the Giants have drafted. Beckham, stud. Let's put somebody on the team to get the ball to him, and let's get the entire front office out of there and start thinking about next year, because that's literally the most optimistic viewpoint you can have. So anyway, let's have a great weekend. Let's whatever your form of praying for Tua would be a good thing to do, because that's a shame. He's a good kid, great athlete. I have a feeling that, I don't want to get too carried away, but hey, Dan Marino and the Dolphins quarterback tradition, Tua had a lot in common with that cannon arm, and we're going to probably miss it, but hopefully we do, because it would be for the better. And Giants fans, speaking of God, let's thank God that the Yankees play in October, so, at least till week 8 or 9, you can pretend the Giants don't exist. That's what I'd do if I were you. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I have been Ryan Smith, and you have been listening to the PhireBall Sports Podcast, starring Ryan Smith. Have a good weekend, guys.